David Woolley thinks he understands Jack, but he doesn't know a single thing about polygamy, not like Kody Brown thinks he does. Those words, dripping with rage and desperation, erupted from Kody's mouth during the explosive Season 20 tell-all, and they reveal more about Kody than anyone could have imagined. For decades, viewers watched the Brown family implode on national television, but nothing prepared us for this. Kody wasn't just bitter, he was vicious, looking directly at the camera as he launched a scathing attack on Christine's new husband, a man who has done nothing but love her and step up for children Kody himself abandoned. The sheer audacity is staggering. Let's be clear, Kody Brown, whose polygamous empire collapsed like a sandcastle in a storm, chose his airtime to attack David Woolley, not to face his own failures, not to take accountability for the pain he caused, or to explain why 3 of his 4 wives walked away. Instead, he insulted David's understanding of polygamy, an irony so thick it could choke a room. Social media erupted instantly, highlighting the hypocrisy in breathtaking fashion. Production insiders described Kody as a wounded animal on stage, lashing out indiscriminately. This wasn't the calculated, manipulative Kody of past seasons. This was a man losing control, lashing out at anyone who embodied what he could never be. David Woolley represents success. Kody, failure. And it's eating him alive. Here's the sting. Kody spent decades as the self-proclaimed patriarch, the spiritual leader of a plural family that supposedly showcased the beauty of polygamy. Now, sitting alone with Robin while Christine thrives in a monogamous, loving marriage. The contrast is brutal. Meanwhile, David is building stability and love where Kody left destruction in his wake. Fans were merciless. Social media lit up with comments like, "Kody lived polygamy and failed at every relationship. How is he an expert? And David has done more for Christine's kids in 2 years than Kody in 20. The verdict from the court of public opinion was absolute. Kody had become a cautionary tale of unchecked ego and failure. The tell-all only escalated from there. From the moment Kody sat down, tension thickened the air. Crew members were visibly uneasy as Kody's agenda became clear. Attack, humiliate, dominate. The bleeping was relentless. Producers couldn't air half of what Kody said. Editors had to work overtime just to make the segments broadcastable. Kody had lost complete control. Contrast that with David's response. Calm, measured, devastatingly simple. I ain't got to live it to know. 7 words that carried more insight than Kody's entire rant. No yelling, no insults, just truth. And it hit like a knockout punch. Even more shocking, Yanel, who viewers expected to defend Christine, expressed subtle reservations about David. Sources suggest this stemmed from jealousy or unresolved feelings for Kody. Meanwhile, Robin played her usual role, loyal but cunning, supporting Kody while maintaining her innocent victim image. The layers of manipulation were staggering. Kody's attacks were calculated. He belittled David's background, mocked his blue-collar work, and attempted to gatekeep knowledge of polygamy. But the irony? Kody himself is the epitome of failure. He lived polygamy and destroyed relationships at every turn. David builds families, Kody dismantles them. Fans had a field day. Social media compared Kody to the captain of the Titanic lecturing sailors about boats. The hypocrisy was undeniable. Kody doesn't know how to be a present father, a loving partner, or a functioning patriarch. Yet he lectures others. The most heartbreaking part? David is raising the children Kody abandoned. Kody's rage is aimed at the man cleaning up his mess. It's a masterclass in bitterness. Meanwhile, Christine thrives with love and stability, proving she made the right choice. The tell-all also teased more chaos. Kody's reaction to a catfish scenario promises even more explosive drama. Robin, predictably, sheds tears, redirecting attention to her own suffering. Meanwhile, viewers are left questioning, why weren't Kody and David face to face? The confrontation could have been television gold, but it never happened. What remains? Kody Brown, bitter, jealous, attacking others instead of reflecting on himself. His insecurity and irrelevance are laid bare. Every insult he throws is a mirror reflecting his failures. Meanwhile, David Woolley quietly succeeds where Kody cannot. Christine thrives. The children flourish. Kody, left alone in a cycle of anger, blame, and fading significance. So here's the real question. Who really doesn't know Jack? David Woolley, who stepped into a chaotic situation and built something lasting? Or Kody Brown, who had every advantage and destroyed almost everything he touched? The answer is crystal clear, and Kody is the only one blind to it. David Woolley might think he understands Jack, but when it comes to polygamy, he has no idea. And Kody Brown made that painfully clear during the season 20 tell-all. The words he spat were dripping with anger and desperation, exposing a man completely unraveling in front of millions of viewers. For years, fans have watched this family fall apart, but nothing prepared us for the venom Kody unleashed this time. He stared directly into the camera and attacked Christine's husband, a man who has done nothing but step up for her and care for the children Kody abandoned. The audacity was staggering. Kody's choices in this segment were shocking. No reflection on his failures, no accountability for the chaos he caused, no acknowledgement of why 3 of his 4 wives left. Instead, he went on a tirade about David's supposed ignorance of polygamy. The irony was almost unbearable, and viewers instantly noticed the hypocrisy. Production insiders described the scene as completely chaotic. One source said Kody was like a cornered animal, lashing out at everything in sight. This wasn't the calm, calculated Kody of past seasons. This was a man losing control of both his story and his family, attacking anyone who represented what he could never achieve. David Woolley, in contrast, remained calm and composed, and that only made Kody's meltdown look worse. David represents stability, care, and genuine family support, the very things Kody failed to maintain. And watching the contrast unfold was brutal for the audience. What made this moment even more revealing was how it exposed Kody's deepest insecurities. He spent decades presenting himself as the patriarch and spiritual guide of a polygamous family, but now, he's left with almost nothing. Christine thrives in a loving, monogamous marriage, while Kody clings to a crumbling household with Robin. The contrast is staggering. Fans reacted immediately. Social media lit up with backlash, calling out Kody's hypocrisy. Comments ranged from pointing out his failures in polygamy to highlighting how David had done more for Christine's children in just 2 years than Kody ever did. The verdict was unanimous. Kody's reputation has taken a serious hit. And this meltdown was just the beginning. From the moment Kody arrived, the tension in the room was palpable. Crew members described an almost unbearable atmosphere, noting that Kody seemed intent on executing a very specific agenda: attack, belittle, dominate. Editors were forced to bleep almost everything he said, a sure sign that Kody had completely lost control. Meanwhile, David's calm response stole the scene. Without raising his voice or throwing insults, he delivered truth in its purest form. His composure contrasted sharply with Kody's rage, further exposing the imbalance between the two men. The audience could see it clearly. Kody was furious because he was losing relevance. David was thriving, Christine was happy, and Kody had nothing to hold on to except bitterness and resentment. The meltdown wasn't just shocking, it was a vivid display of insecurity, ego, and failure. The chaos didn't stop with Kody's initial outburst. If anything, it escalated. As the tell-all continued, it became painfully clear that Kody wasn't acting alone. Robin was there, carefully echoing his attacks while maintaining her polished image of reluctant support. Together, they presented a united front, determined to undermine David Woolley at every turn. Their strategy was obvious: question his experience, belittle his perspective, and assert that only someone who had lived polygamy could possibly understand it. Kody sneered, mocking David's background, implying that a man who works with his hands couldn't grasp the complexities of a family he could never manage. The arrogance was breathtaking, but the irony was impossible to miss. Kody, a man whose polygamous empire collapsed, was lecturing someone who had stepped into a fractured situation and built a family from the ground up. David had created stability where Kody had left chaos. He had shown up for children Kody abandoned. And he had done it with calm dignity. David didn't rise to Kody's bait. He didn't yell. He didn't insult. Every word, every gesture exuded composure. In those moments, the contrast couldn't have been sharper. Kody, red-faced and consumed by rage, versus David, steady and unshakable, quietly letting his actions speak louder than words. Fans watching online were quick to notice. Social media exploded with reactions pointing out the hypocrisy. One viral comment summed it up perfectly. Kody lived polygamy and failed at every relationship. David stepped in and fixed what Kody broke. Meanwhile, the tell-all revealed subtle but significant tensions with the other wives. Yanel, unexpectedly, seemed hesitant to fully endorse David. Sources suggest that her mixed reactions stemmed from lingering feelings of attachment to Kody or jealousy over Christine's happiness. It was a surprising layer of complexity in an already explosive situation. The dynamic between Kody, Robyn, and the rest of the family created a tangled web of loyalty, resentment, and ego. Robyn's performance was textbook, supportive enough to appear loyal, but careful to maintain her image as the sympathetic bystander. She knew exactly how to amplify Kody's tirade without appearing to lead it herself, a skill she had perfected over years of reality TV. Despite their coordination, the attacks only served to highlight Kody's insecurities. Each jibe aimed at David was a mirror reflecting his own failures. Every insult about David's background, every dismissal of his understanding of polygamy, showcased just how desperate Kody was to reclaim control he no longer possessed. David's quiet strength only magnified Kody's unraveling. With each calm response, Kody's rage seemed more irrational, more unhinged. Fans noticed the stark difference. One man thriving and building a family, the other lashing out at anyone who reminded him of his inadequacy. And yet, the tell-all promised even more drama. Kody's inability to stay composed wasn't confined to David alone. Robyn's tears, Yanel's subtle judgments, and the constant tension in the room all hinted at a storm that was far from over. By the end of Part 2, it was clear to everyone watching. Kody's attacks were less about David and more about his own fading relevance. He was a man clinging to a crumbling empire, lashing out at anyone who dared succeed where he had failed. And David Woolley? Calm, steady, and quietly victorious. By now, it was impossible to ignore the stark contrast. Christine, finally free from Kody's shadow, was thriving in a loving, stable marriage with David Woolley. The happiness radiated from every moment she shared with him. Every photo, every story, every interaction with her children. She was finally living the life Kody had never been able to give her. Meanwhile, Kody was trapped in a cycle of rage and jealousy. Every attack he launched at David was a reflection of his own insecurities. He could see, with perfect clarity, what he had lost: a loving partner, a family that respected him, and relevance in a life he once controlled. Instead of self-reflection, he lashed out, desperate to reclaim some semblance of authority, even if it meant humiliating himself on national television. Fans were quick to notice the disparity. Social media lit up with comments pointing out the hypocrisy. One viral post perfectly captured it: Kody is bitter, David is building a life. The difference couldn't be clearer. Another observed, David shows up for the kids Kody abandoned. Kody lectures him about polygamy? Unreal. The audience had already chosen their side. But the drama didn't stop there. Behind the scenes, tensions were simmering, and the tell-all teased a new twist: a catfish scenario that promised to push Kody over the edge yet again. While the details were murky, insiders confirmed it involved deception that Kody took personally, and his reaction was nothing short of explosive. Editors had to bleep countless expletives to make the segment airable. Robyn, predictably, shed her crocodile tears once again, shifting attention to herself while Kody's meltdown dominated the stage. Her performance was masterful. She amplified Kody's fury without ever appearing to lead the charge. It was a pattern viewers had seen before, and yet it still shocked to watch. The catfish revelation wasn't just about online drama. It struck at Kody's fragile ego and sense of control. He became visibly unhinged, proving once more that he cannot handle challenges to his authority or relevance. Meanwhile, David remained untouched by the chaos, continuing to build his family quietly and consistently. Yanel's role also added complexity. Her unexpected reservations about David highlighted lingering loyalty to Kody or unresolved emotions over the past. For viewers who had hoped she would fully support Christine's happiness, it was a twist no one anticipated. The interplay between Kody, Robyn, and Yanel created a tense, almost unbearable dynamic that kept everyone on edge. By the time the tell-all reached its climax, the full picture was impossible to ignore. Kody Brown's bitterness, jealousy, and rage had dominated the screen, but the truth was crystal clear to everyone watching. He was spiraling, and there was no recovery in sight. Despite all his attempts to attack David Woolley, the reality could not be hidden. David had stepped into chaos and built something Kody could never manage: a loving family, stability for Christine's children, and a life rooted in respect and care. Every calm gesture, every steady action from David only highlighted Kody's failures more starkly. Fans watching online were ruthless. Social media exploded with memes, critiques, and blistering commentary. One viral post read, "Kody attacking David is like a king throwing tantrums while watching someone else build his castle." Another captured the irony perfectly. "David raises Kody's kids better than Kody ever did, and Kody lectures him about polygamy? Pathetic." And yet, the drama wasn't over. The catfish revelation teased earlier finally added fuel to the fire. Kody's reaction was explosive, with editors forced to censor countless expletives. Robyn's tears once again drew attention to herself, a familiar performance of victimhood and loyalty that masked the true chaos unfolding. Perhaps the most striking element of the finale was what didn't happen. Kody and David never faced each other directly. Viewers were left to imagine how the confrontation would have gone. Speculation ran rampant online. Fans argued that Kody refused to be in the same room, knowing David's calm presence would expose every flaw, every insecurity, and every failure. This separation only amplified Kody's desperation. Meanwhile, Christine thrived, a living testament to the life Kody could never give her. Every smile, every happy moment, every family memory with David and her children underscored Kody's irrelevance. The contrast couldn't have been sharper. Kody's rage was futile. David's life was proof of what mattered most: love, stability, and care. The audience's verdict was unanimous. Kody Brown, once the self-proclaimed patriarch, was exposed as insecure, bitter, and irrelevant. Every insult, every attempt to reclaim dominance, every display of anger only reinforced what viewers already knew. He is the villain of his own story. Even the other wives played their parts in this final act. Yanel's subtle hesitation, Robyn's loyalty and tears, and the calculated chaos they helped orchestrate all highlighted the fractures within the family. But none of it could overshadow the truth. Kody's empire is in ruins, and the people he tried to demean are thriving without him. As the credits rolled, one thing became undeniable: Kody's attacks did nothing to change reality. David Woolley continues to show up for Christine and her children, building a life full of love and stability. Kody remains trapped in a cycle of bitterness and blame, watching as everyone he failed moves forward without him. The final message was clear to every viewer. The man who claimed to know polygamy the most didn't know how to build, maintain, or care for his family. The man he attacked quietly succeeded in every way Kody could not. And that, more than anything, was the ultimate, devastating truth of the Season 20 tell-all.